Now I'm going to kind of show you what all comes in the kit. I got this kit from MikeParts.com. I really like MikeParts.com. This guy has really made the kit itself very understandable. Even if you don't understand what each of the parts do, if you read really carefully, you'll definitely get a sense for how all of this works and goes together. The most important thing that he gives you is this right here, and it's your instruction book. This instruction book is so good. He writes everything that you need to know, includes a parts list, of course, super detailed pictures of exactly what to do each time. If there's something that's extremely important for you to think about, he adds that in, and you can see I've already read through the book and like circled some stuff that I need to know and think about. So it's an all-inclusive little manual here. And the first thing I would do when you get a kit, if you do this kit or something like it, is I would read through this manual and do what I did. Highlight things that you need to remember for yourself. Take careful notes of what's there, and just make sure you understand the language that he's using when he's talking about this book. This is a transistor, and it's associated resistors. You call this the JFET. Don't take these out of the package when you get them, because they're important that they stay together. You'll see in the instructions when you start building, it'll say, hey, you need to use R13 and R14, and it labels them here, and they're labeled on the little indicators too, and it'll tell you when to put the JFET little transistor in, and it's important that you keep these separate and together because they kind of function much the same way. Next is this. This is our PCB, or pre-printed circuit board. This is what does all of the work in making the thing actually work. And if you see, if I can make sure the camera gets it a little bit, all of it's labeled with like R13s and C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, all that kind of stuff. That is going to greatly help you in the making of this. Try to get that up there so you can really see it. The making of this project, because he's labeled everything along the way as to where it goes. And you actually have to make all the solder joint connections. So it's important that you know where the components go so that you can make the connections the right way. Here's a pack of capacitors that it comes with. These are equalizer options, so you can actually tailor the tone of your microphone to be the EQ choice. Here are all the switches and the resistors and the everything like that you're going to need in the kit, and I'm going to talk through what I do with these here in just a minute. This I am not going to pull out of the package until the last possible second. This is actually the capacitor, the main diaphragm capacitor for this microphone. This is the most expensive piece that you're buying when you get the kit. So I wouldn't pull it out until you're absolutely ready to work on it. Remember, any touch to the diaphragm, any water, any liquid, any finger oils are gonna actually change the way this microphone sounds. So you don't want to touch the contents of this kit until it's time, and then make sure you read the proper instructions on exactly how to handle it. And I'll go over that a little bit in this video, but make sure you're just comfortable with what it is. You shouldn't be afraid of it. It's not that bad. You just need to be aware of it. So take your time, understand what this is. And finally, the last thing that the kit comes with is a donor body. This is a microphone body. There's nothing in here right now other than just a frame to hold the PCB boards. And then it comes actually with a really nice spider mount for using in the end. Not all their kits come with spider mounts, so I really like that this kit does come with the spider mount. It also makes it a little more expensive, but this is a rebuild of a Neumann style microphone. If you know anything about Neumann microphones, they're about $3,000 each. This kit only costs a little over $400. So there you go. It's a steal when you consider what you come out with compared to what you put into it. You just have to take the time to actually learn everything that goes into building a microphone, which is pretty important. So again, these are all the parts that come with the microphone. It really doesn't look like a lot sitting here in front of you, but it's going to be a nice little project for us to do. So let's dive right in to what we like to do. So I'm going to set this aside because I don't want to touch it for quite a while. Now I need to figure out what all this stuff is, and I use this handy dandy book right here that has pictures of everything. So I actually like to lay this out exactly like this picture. So I'm going to sort everything and make sure that it all fits with this diagram and that I have everything I'm going to need before I start. All the resistors, the little brown pieces, let me see if I can pull one out for you so you'll see what I'm looking at. They're all labeled. Everything is labeled. But if you can tell, let me go to this. They're all labeled, but it's super, super tiny as to what they actually are. So that's where the other device that I forgot to tell you about a minute ago on my bench comes into play. This is a magnifying glass with a flashlight. So when I have the magnifying glass out, I can be like, oh, that's a 2.2 K resistor. So I know that right there is a 2.2 K resistor. There are different things that you need to see, like these switches, which will actually allow us to select our polarity pattern on this microphone in the end. All sorts of stuff. This one is an inductor. It's really tiny. Just so you can see it. You see how it has colored stripes on it? Those stripes actually tell us what electricity flow that inductor has and how it's to be used. So it's important that you pay attention to the stripe pattern on the inductors. The hardest ones to read by far to me, and the reason I use the microscope or magnifying glass, these are the diodes. They are positive and negatively charged, so they have to go in the right direction. It tells you that this little black stripe at the top, it tells you which direction that black stripe needs to go, but it's virtually impossible to read these without some kind of magnifying glass. So I would highly recommend this little magnifying doodle. You can get it from MikeParts.com as well, and this lets me see that these are 48s. So now that I have identified them, it will be easier to sort them out and get everything together. So like I said, right now I'm going to take some time. You're going to save you some time so you don't have to sit here and watch me use a magnifying glass, but I'm going to sort everything and make sure I have all the parts that I'm supposed to have. So I'll be back in a bit.